Good day, everyone! This is Echo Class, and today we're gonna talk about air. But before we proceed, have you ever felt that cold, relaxing breeze, or in the other way around, the hot atmosphere during summers? How about the product of an active fan, or the air we exhale and inhale? Yes, those are all examples of air. Air is something that cannot be seen but felt. We often define it as tasteless, shapeless, and odorless. It is air which breezes all around us, touches our skin, gives purpose to our lungs, and life to our bodies. Perhaps, air is everywhere. It is obvious that air is a total life support and a key to existence. Yet some people do not really acknowledge its existence, which results to humans benefiting from the one-day harm. To define it in the simplest way possible, air is a mixture of all gases present in the Earth's atmosphere. So let's talk about its elements. So, does that mean that air is an element but it consists of different elements as well? It's like the elements of the element. Air is mostly made up of nitrogen and oxygen, though there are other gases in it too. So to put things into perspective, air is made up of 78% nitrogen, 21% oxygen, 0.9% of argon, 0.4% of carbon dioxide, and a very small amount of other gases. Some says that we can't trap gas in a definite space because it will always find a way to escape. However, the Earth's atmosphere keeps the air from escaping into space, making it act like an airtight seal around it. Air has no definite shape, volume, color, nor smell. But since it is a form of matter, it is still considered to have mass and weight, which then creates atmospheric pressure. Everyone, from the smallest creature to the most massive ones, even though who aren't even living and thriving in land, need air for survival. For instance, animals and humans breathe air, inhaling oxygen and exhaling carbon dioxide, which is also known as gas exchange. In this process, plants contribute by collecting carbon dioxide produced by animals and humans and using it in a process called photosynthesis. So for your information, photosynthesis is their way of self-producing food that allows them to provide primary energy to all living creatures once eaten, as well as releasing oxygen as their waste product. Without this cycle, animals would die in asphyxia, and we would most likely run out of oxygen to breathe and eventually die. Moreover, air is also useful in traveling, especially for human transportation such as aircraft. They use air which allows them to fly, traveling with ease and creating new marks of human race elsewhere than land. So, what is the current condition of the air right now as we speak? Well, for starters, it is polluted. Pollution falls into two categories, either man-made or natural origin. As it is overly polluted, it can be harmful not only for humans but also for all living creatures, as it affects our respiratory system, such as resulting to cancer. Furthermore, air pollution, if it becomes too excessive, can lead to extinction and changes of weather in a global warming. As sad as it sounds, we often overuse things that aren't ours. We become careless for those things we cannot see, and we tend to make things feel underappreciated if our minds cannot fathom it. But we have to keep in mind that air is the last element that is free, the last element that is out of touch from tight grasp of money and influence, and the last thing on earth we can enjoy without paying even a single centavo from our wallets. Yet, it is still being beaten up and abused each and every time humans found a way to. How can we take care of air when we cannot see it? Make sense? Simple. Appreciate it. Acknowledge it. Air is greater than all of us. We should take care of it more than we are doing right now. In fact, without it, we would most likely go and combust and succumb to our lives living to be human competitors. Tons of data has been gathered in response to research with what air really is. Well, it is truly baffling that we know almost nothing about something that we need in order to survive. We have gathered data from different platforms. One of those is WHO, also known as World Health Organization. The data are as follows. Each year, around 7 million deaths are recorded due to exposure from both outdoor and household air pollution. But what contributes to air pollution in the first place? According to the Air Quality Life Index, or AQLI, 18% of air particulate pollution comes from natural sources including volcanic eruptions, wind-blown dust, sea salt spray, and emissions of volatile organic compounds from plants. 25% are from vehicle emission, 20% is from coal burning, 15% are from power plants and industries, and the last 22% is from other human activity. This also includes the use of air conditioning, but how does air pollution impact health? When particulate matter is breathed through the nose or mouth, each particle's fate depends on its size. The finer the particles, the farther into the body they can penetrate. PM10 particles with diameter smaller than 10 micrometers, those concentration in the air is included in measures of total suspended matter, are small enough to pass through the hair in the nose. They travel down the respiratory tract into the lungs, where the metal elements of the surface of the particles oxidize lung cells, damaging their DNA and increasing the risk of cancer. But more deadly is an even smaller classification, which is also known as PM2.5, or particles with diameter less than 2.5 micrometers, just 3% the diameter of a human hair. In addition to contributing to risk of lung disease, PM2.5 particles pass even deeper into the lung alveoli, the blood vessel-covered air sacs in which the bloodstream exchange oxygen for carbon dioxide. The tiny size of PM2.5 particles not only makes them harmful from physiological perspective, but also allows these particles to stay in the air potentially for weeks and to travel hundreds or thousands of kilometers. Not only us humans are affected by this, but also nature and wildlife. No matter what their size is, air pollution affects almost every species on this planet. The most common health effects on animals are respiratory problems, which is totally obvious since they have similar respiratory systems as to humans. Wildlife is prone to suffer the same symptoms and disease as humans. Specifically, lung tissue is very commonly affected on animals after breathing polluted gases or particles. Air pollution has a lot of influence on vegetation by attacking its growth sources, such as airborne molecules, soil minerals, or directly its organisms, depending on the particular pollutant or environmental pollution conditions. Last but not the least, air pollution may harm an ecosystem as a whole, and not only our particular organism from it. Let us not forget that living with air comes alongside with dying with air, and sometimes even dying because of it. So, with what we know now, how can we help save it? Well, to save what is saving us in the first place, first, make it a mission to conserve more energy. Practice turning off your lights and unplugging the appliances regularly whenever it is not being used, because the more power you consume, the more energy you're wasting, and at the same time, it pollutes the air. We have air conditioners, for example, which are also known for emitting hydrofluorocarbons. This chemical, according to NASA, or the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, catalyzes the depletion of ozone layer by causing increase in the Earth's stratosphere and by destroying ozone molecules. If this protective layer has been destroyed, sun's ultraviolet rays will be able to easily penetrate the Earth, resulting to skin and health problems for animals and humans. while drought and climatic effects on the environment. Second, drive your cars less. Vehicles' exhaust is a major contributor in air pollution. Always maintain and fix the exhaust for problems and turn off the engine. Engines create a hotspot of pollution. Third, don't burn your garbage. Burning household garbage is very dangerous to your health and to the environment as well. Fourth, don't use hazardous chemicals. Fifth, join an environmental organizations. And lastly, educate yourself and the people around you. Remember that life is short, but insanely shorter without air. We do not own it, let alone the earth. We may not see air feel appreciated, but remember that we are all breathing the same air. So be a hero in your own way and fight against air invasion.
It's not ours.
It's not mine.
It's ours.
Care for air.